Hi, I'm John Murray. I'm an artist living in Cape Town. I work from my home, where my studio is. Normally when I paint, I would start with quite a broad brush strokes and kind of just jump into the painting. So it's quite an organic process. And then from there I start building up the surface with various textures. So I respond to things that happen within the painting. Very influenced by artists like Lucian Freud and Marlene Dumas and people like Alice Neal. And I remember from my university days that I really liked the photomontage work of Hannah Hock and the Russian constructivists. I think it was in that was more a kind of visual interest in their work rather than an ideological interest. Those kind of artists still in some way resonate in my figurative work, although a lot of my work are abstract these days. In the early 90s, and deconstruction was quite a big thing back then. You know, that was before internet, and I think we relied visually. We relied on what was in the library, in the art department. PERi-PERi Road is a road quite close to my studio, and I always enjoy driving down this road. I find the visual communication here very interesting. There's an organic feel about this whole environment, and almost a randomness. This idea that you can get surprised around the corner that I quite like. I especially like things like the hand lettering that you find here on the walls. Yeah, I think I've always, since a student, I've been interested in hand lettering and the graphic element. And I think that these kind of the use of color that you often find in streets like this, the randomness, that kind of filters through into my work. It's visually so overwhelming, and there are so many layers, you know, of history, and in some ways subconsciously kind of inspires me. I think my art is not expressing something very specific. I mean, for me, a lot of my art derives from a feeling of uncertainty, and that uncertainty comes into the process of how I make work. I work with ideas of fragments, and the idea of uncertainty is quite important in my work for myself. As a personal thing of what is it that you are supposed to paint, or what is interesting about painting, or why are you painting this, and those are issues that I struggled with earlier in my career. And one of my lectures said to embrace your problem, and I think that was whatever your problem is in art, embrace it. Students would come and they think there's a specific way of drawing, you know, and if they don't achieve that, they kind of get deflated or demoralized. And once you acknowledge that there is an awkwardness in your drawing and you go with that, it becomes something quite interesting. So don't try and fight it. And I think that's stuck in my mind. The idea of embracing what the problem is quite a good piece of advice.